Well, good afternoon. We have an exciting astronomical event coming up tonight, not just for the Boston area, but for the whole country. And joining me from NASA is Dr. Noah Petro, a NASA scientist. Thank you for joining us today, Noah Petro. So tonight, now here locally, we're a little bit concerned because of some cloudiness. But if you could just tell us, sort of astronomically speaking, what's happening tonight, the alignment of the sun, moon, and Earth, and kind of what's going on in the sky tonight.
Yeah, so tonight, late tonight and into tomorrow morning, we're going to be treated to a total lunar eclipse, as you said, when the Earth, sun, and moon are in perfect alignment. Again, we have a full moon every month, but not every month the moon passes into the Earth's shadow. So that's what makes tonight's full moon so special, is that the moon will pass into the Earth's shadow. And again, starting just after midnight and reaching totality at about 2:30 in the morning. So again, late night, but worth the opportunity to see. And if it is cloudy, again, this unfolds over several hours. So don't worry about it. If it's patchy clouds, I'd say please be patient. If there's a break in the clouds, you'll get to see the blood moon. The moon turns this beautiful red color when it passes into the Earth's shadow. And why that happens is basically every sunrise and sunset that's occurring on the planet at that moment is projected onto the surface of the moon. So tonight, if you have an opportunity to go out and see this, and you see the moon turn that red color, remember it's that beautiful atmosphere above our heads that is causing this red color on the surface of the moon.
That's so fascinating. And so how frequently do these total lunar eclipses happen? I believe that we have a graphic up right now that says the next one visible in the US is next March. So would you say about a year or so on average that we get to see something like this?
Yeah, in general, on the planet, there are maybe 1 or 2 eclipses per year. But for one to happen where we can see it, it's not every day. And so the eclipse that we have next year, might be visible, but only visible at sunrise, at moonrise, or moonset. We actually won't have another eclipse like this one that will be completely visible across the entirety of the country until 2048. So yes, while we will have opportunity to see parts of eclipses, we won't have quite the same view as we will tomorrow and tonight until 2048. So eclipses are common across the, but they're also really important, especially right now as we enter this new era of lunar exploration. And so this is a great kind of starting gun for that new era.
Yeah, so that leads me into my next question perfectly. Speaking of the moon, maybe you could speak a little bit more about what NASA's currently doing with their LRO mission. We spoke with some folks there a few weeks back when they were making their first landing, which was fascinating to watch. Maybe give us an update and a look into the future with that.
Yeah, so we're really fortunate that right now we have both the LRO spacecraft, which is orbiting the moon and has been for almost 16 years. And on the surface of the moon, we have Blue Ghost Mission 1, which landed just over a week ago. And they will actually be attempting to image the Earth during the eclipse tonight and into tomorrow, as well as the IM-2 landing that occurred last week as well. So a lot happening at the moon. We're learning more about the lunar surface. And again, our observations from orbit help connect what we are measuring from the orbit to the surface with these landed missions.
And so what else are you planning? I know these missions to the moon are bringing supplies. Like, what's the long-term plan there? Is it one day to inhabit the moon, or just sort of to set up an observation? What does the future hold?
The future is quite exciting. So these robotic missions are sending instruments to the lunar surface, payloads to the surface, so that we can understand the environment, what the surface is made of, the properties of the surface. But we're also preparing for future human exploration. Next year, Artemis 2 will send a crew of 4 astronauts to fly past the moon, and a year later, Artemis 3 will send astronauts to lunar orbit, and then 2 astronauts will descend to the lunar surface, landing at the South Pole, beginning the next era of in situ or in-person exploration by humans. That mission will last up to 6.5 days, and we're going to follow that with Artemis 4 about 2 years later, where we're going to build up a cadence of missions to the surface, extended duration stays on the lunar surface, and eventually building habitats where we can stay for longer periods of time.
Fascinating. Really, really fascinating stuff. I got one more for you. I hope it's not a curveball. Tomorrow is Pi Day, after all.
Yes.
So how cool to have a lunar eclipse, even though it's happening very early in the day, on Pi Day. Maybe you could explain to our viewers, other than the pi that they may be thinking of, what mathematical pi is, and actually how it helps astronomers actually predict things like an eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, so there's Boston cream pie, which is awesome, and then there's pi 3.141597, and so on and so on. And basically, pi is that mathematical constant that allows you to predict and calculate the circumference of a circle given its diameter. We use that to predict eclipses because we can take the diameter of the moon, the diameter of the Earth's shadow, and find when they rematch and overlay. So, constants like pi are used to not only predict what we'll see tomorrow morning, but also eclipses for the next century and beyond. And so this is that math teacher that told you that this is important because you'll use it later in life. This is one of those applications. So for all the math teachers, congratulations and thank you for your hard work. It's a reminder that the math that we learn is applied here at NASA and, of course, into the heavens above.
I love it. Mathematics coming to fruition in real life. That's so cool, so cool. All right, well, listen, thank you for joining us, Dr. Noah Petro from NASA. We will, fingers crossed here that some of our area may actually be able to see a little something tonight. Again, the total eclipse here from about 2:30 to 3:30 in the morning, that'll be the time to go. But again, thank you for joining us and for all that good stuff. And we will continue to kind of reach out and talk about your missions there to the moon. It's fascinating stuff going on.
Awesome. Can't wait. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. That'll do it for now on the stream. Again, tonight, check out that lunar eclipse. If you're north and west of the city, much better chance of seeing it. If you do, send us some pictures. Snap some pictures. Send them to our weather team. We'd love to see them. For now, have a good day.